What's going on, guys? It's me, Phil, back again with Capsike for another product review video. In this episode, we're going to be showing you a custom collab between us and 47 brand. This is called the Corduroy pack. Alright, so I'm going to walk you guys through the Corduroy pack. We got a couple of different things that I want you to pay attention to. So we're going to start off with the plain colored ones, and then we're going to move into some of the more interesting details. Alright, up first is the Philadelphia Phillies. Okay guys, so here we have the Philadelphia Phillies Corduroy Vintage Cooperstown Snapback hat from 47 brand and us. Let me walk you through. So first of all, as you can see, the entire hat is made out of corduroy. That's not something we tip again. I think it's really because of that vintage vibe that it brings in. It really gives you that throwback era hat kind of emotion. If you remember back in like the 80s, and even maybe before then, corduroy was very popular for headwear because it still gives you kind of like a structured appearance here, but it's not super tough because it's not actually structured in the way that fitted hats and snapback hats are today. So let's take a look here. We got a maroon corduroy crown and a corduroy brim. Now this does come flat. Of course, if you prefer to bend it, you can bend it. Embroidered on the front, we have the Cooperstown Philadelphia Phillies logo in white, and it is a 3D puff embroidery, so it's coming off of the crown slightly, but because of the ridges of the corduroy, it does seem a little bit more flat, but when you feel it, it does pop out. On the wearer's left here, we have the 47 brand insignia embroidered in white. On the back, we decided to go with a contrast. It is an adjustable snapback hat, so this one size fits most. It can fit a variety of head sizes. Rather than just going with that same colorway, maroon, we went with the light blue, that Columbia blue, sky blue, also as it is referred to, of the Philadelphia Phillies Cooperstown edition. I think it's really cool because it gives a nice little pop of color, but it's not too out of the ordinary. Under visor, we decided to go with that same blue as well, just to give it a little bit more pop, just something a little more interesting. Now, back in the day, these corduroy caps, when we're talking about the vintage Cooperstown ones, they didn't really have special color under visors. So if you're looking at it from that perspective, it is a little bit different, but I think it adds a lot to the hat and makes it something, basically a nice combination between modern headwear and that vintage era. Black sweatband on the interior. There's a Cooperstown collection label on the inside and the 47 brand label as well. And of course it is one size fits most because it is adjustable. So there's another look at the maroon Cooperstown corduroy snapback hat. Okay, so next up are two more Philadelphia Phillies corduroy hats, but they're different and I'm gonna show you why. Alright, so right here I have another Cooperstown Philadelphia Phillies hat, but right off the bat you'll already see that this is kind of in a wheat Tim colorway. So we designed the next two hats inspired by the Timberland boot, which is one of the most iconic pieces of footwear in cities. If you know anything about footwear, you've probably seen this a million times, and this is really what we were going for here. Again, the whole hat is 100% corduroy, that wheat colored crown, that flat brim. Now, one thing about these corduroy hats is they are 5-panel hats, they're not 6-panel. So if we look at the top here, we see that this panel right here is actually one panel that's kind of stitched together. So you have kind of like a half seam right here, but where the logo actually is, different from fitted caps and traditional snapback hats, you don't have that middle seam. Personally, I like this. I think it looks really nice because it really puts the focus on that logo and doesn't obstruct too much. One thing I love about this as well is on this one, it's a two-tone embroidery. So we have kind of like a white outline background stitch, and then we have a puff 3D maroon Philadelphia Phillies logo embroidered, so it pops out a little bit from the crown. Still keeping true with that vintage feel of a corduroy hat, but at the same time, just bringing it a little bit more modern and a little bit nicer looking. Now on the wearer's left, once again, we see the 47 brand logo embroidered in white. On the back this time, we went with the maroon snap Again, just to give it a little pop of color, make it adjustable. It ties in with that front really nicely. Now on the undervisor, however, we did the same thing we did with the maroon one. We did a sky blue undervisor. Main reason being to incorporate some aspect of the Philadelphia Phillies colorways in each element of the hat. So you have the maroon on the snap, you have the maroon on the front, now you have the sky blue. So while you're still able to construct an outfit and match the wheat Tims, you can still kind of pay homage to the Philadelphia Phillies Cooperstown colorways with this snapback. Black sweatband on the interior, Cooperstown label, 47 brand label. There's another look at that wheat Tim inspired Philadelphia Phillies Cooperstown snapback hat in the collab between us and 47 brand. And up next, we got the current day Philadelphia Phillies. All right, so here it is, the current day Philadelphia Phillies wheat Tim inspired corduroy snapback hat. Very similar to what we just looked at with the Philadelphia Phillies Cooperstown edition. However, now we're using the current day colorway of scarlet red and white. So you can see that right off the rip. 100% corduroy construction on this hat. 5-panel. We have that wheat colored crown and that wheat flat brim, so you could tie it into, you know, whether you got wheat colored cargos, wheat Tims, which is what this was modeled after. It gives you a lot of flexibility here, which I think is nice. Embroidered on the front, we got the current day Philadelphia Phillies logo in scarlet red with a white outline backdrop. Really, really nice. On the wearer's left here, we have the 47 brand logo in white. On the back, little pop of color there, that scarlet red adjustable snap, and tying it all in together, we have that scarlet red undervisor. It really pops and just looks super, super clean. You can already see how you could build an outfit from this with like a little bit of red, wheat Tims. Looks really, really, really good. Now black sweatband on the interior, genuine merchandise MLB label on the interior, and of course the 47 brand label as well. Really nice hat overall. I think the red goes really nicely with that wheat. There's another 360 look at this custom corduroy snapback hat from us and 47 brand. All right, next up, we got some white corduroy hats to show you. All right, so up first is a Philadelphia team that you will not traditionally see because they no longer exist actually as a Philadelphia team. They now play for Oakland. So we have the Philadelphia Athletics, which is personally one of my favorite logos and favorite colorways when it comes to the history of Philly teams. So first of all, white corduroy crown, white corduroy brim, 5-panel construction just like the rest of the hats. Embroidered on that front, we have that Philadelphia Athletics A logo in royal blue, and it's 3D, so it comes off the crown a little bit. On the wearer's left, we see the 47 brand logo in royal blue embroidered. On the back, one of my favorite parts, that royal blue snap just pops so nicely on that white corduroy. I think it looks really, really clean, and when you consider how it ties in with the front, I think it's awesome. And this as well, that royal blue Philadelphia Athletics undervisor, just really, really nice. Brings the whole hat together really well. Black sweatband on the interior, Cooperstown collection label, and the 47 brand label. Overall, honestly, whether you're an Athletics fan who is, you know, supporting them now when they're in California, or you're just somebody from Philly who likes the history of Philadelphia sports, this corduroy vintage snapback hat from us and 47 brand, I think is a solid pickup, especially because it's custom. You're not really gonna find this anywhere else. All right, up next, I got 2 more Philadelphia Phillies ones to show you. All right, so here we got the Philadelphia Phillies white corduroy snapback hat. Very similar to the other 2 I showed you, but let's walk it through. So first of all, this does actually feature a 2-tone embroidery. It's a little tough to see because it's on white, but it does feature a white background. What that does on the corduroy is it kind of stabilizes that material and makes the actual colored portion of the logo, which in this case is the maroon in 3D, look really, really nice and clean. Because otherwise it's very difficult to stitch on corduroy because you have the ridges that the needle has to navigate through. 5-panel construction, 100% corduroy crown, and brim. On the wearer's left there, you'll see the 47 brand logo embroidered in that maroon Phillies colorway. On the back here, nice little splash of color. So we went with that sky blue snap, which I think looks really, really nice with that white. And of course it ties in with the front. So this is a hat that is a little bit more on the lines of like you can match it with a jersey. If you have a vintage Cooperstown Phillies jersey, it'll go really nicely with that. Sky blue undervisor, again, tying in with that front logo and that snap, looking really, really clean. Black sweatband on the interior, Cooperstown label, and the 47 brand label. I love how vintage it looks with the Cooperstown colorway, and I think the white just gives you an alternate from the standard maroon or light blue that we always see vintage Cooperstown Phillies hats in. Okay, up next is the current day Phillies. All right, so right here we have the current day Phillies in the white corduroy. Let's run through this one. So we have, again, a two-tone logo embroidered on the front. So again, tough to see, but there is a white drop shadow behind the Philadelphia Phillies logo. And then the Phillies logo is actually embroidered in red, but in 3 dimensions in that puff that we talked about. 5-panel construction, corduroy brim, corduroy crown. On the wearer's left, we see the 47 brand logo in red. On the back, we have a red adjustable snap. Red undervisor. You know how we feel about red bottoms. Super, super nice. Black sweatband on the interior. Genuine merchandise MLB label and the 47 brand label. I think this is just a really solid neutral hat that still kind of features some of that vintage vibe that we talked about, but you know, gives you some options and still elevates it because of the material and things like that. So really solid pickup. Last but not least, we also did the corduroy in the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm gonna show you that next. All right, so here it is, the Philadelphia Eagles throwback vintage corduroy snapback hat from the collab between us and New Era. This is probably one of my favorites in the collection, just because number one, that throwback Philadelphia Eagles logo is by far their best logo. And if you're an Eagles fan, you know how a lot of people have been wanting us to go back to the Kelly green and back to this logo. Personally, I'm on that train, but I know there's a lot involved with that. But nonetheless, we could still create great products that kind of brings us back to that era. So first of all, that throwback Eagles logo looks so good on the corduroy. I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. We got that white corduroy 5-panel crown. The logo is embroidered real nice and big on the front, featuring Kelly green, white, black, yellow, and brown. Corduroy white brim. Embroidered on the wearer's left, that 47 brand logo in Kelly green. On the back, we have the Kelly green adjustable snap. Pops really, really nicely with that white corduroy. Right off the bat, what I think of is the vintage white and Kelly green jerseys from the throwback Eagles, you know, like the Randall Cunningham jerseys and all that stuff. This would be a great item to match with those if that's something you have in your collection. And just because of the corduroy, it really brings back the whole idea of the vintage era. Kelly green undervisor, which pops so nicely with the white and really ties the whole thing together. Black sweatband on the interior, NFL Shield logo, 47 brand logo, and there's another look at the 47 brand corduroy collab Philadelphia Eagles throwback snapback hat. Alright guys, so this has been the corduroy pack between us and 47 brand. If you liked any of these hats, they're all available for purchase on our website right now. You can click the links in the description below or visit our website to see them. If you like this video, make sure you leave a thumbs up, leave us a comment, let us know what you think about this collection. To see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you always find out when we're posting a new video. And if you want to find out when we're dropping all these new releases, the best place to find out about that stuff is to give us a follow on Instagram. It's @CapswagUSA. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.